Welcome to episode number 28. 28. Oh, let's restart this.
Already.
The what?
This is part of the blooper reel.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. Episode number 28. I'm your main host, Coach YoYo. We have our co-host, obviously, Coach Nik.
I'm back.
And we have a special guest today by the name of Sheree Valdez. Is that how I was saying your last name? I've known Sheree for a long time now, since I very, very first started in the bodybuilding industry, and she's been super nice to me. And she turned pro. She's an IFBB pro, women's physique division, and she's a mom of three.
Yes.
Mom of three, and she's also a coach in our gym facility that we coach at as well. So we wanted to kind of bring her on here to talk about her journey and what it's like for Sheree, from being a mom of three, working 3 jobs at the time, and prepping for bodybuilding. And I'm really interested to see when does she has time to do any of that, which is crazy. And then last but not least, we want to talk about how to stay on track during the holidays. So if you want to stay with that, if you want to hear about how we stay on track, listen to the podcast to the very end, and we'll get started. So what's up?
What's up? Thanks for having me on.
You nervous?
A little bit.
It's okay.
It's like, I like to be in the spotlight, but I don't like to be in the spotlight, you know?
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like, oh, I'm really in the spotlight now.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, what made you be who you are today?
So for me, when I actually started with like P90X. It was going through a relationship where we were falling apart, basically. And we did it to kind of bond. I enjoyed it. Like, at first, I wouldn't have done it probably if I didn't have somebody there trying to push me. But I was like, this is stupid. I'm sore. I was like walking sideways up the stairs. Like, I was like, I was done. I was like, this is stupid. And like, luckily my boyfriend at the time was like, come on, like, let's just do it. And I was like, all right, fine, you know. But I could honestly say if I didn't have that, I probably would have never continued. I had been in the gym on and off throughout life or whatever. And
have you been on the smaller side your whole life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like after 3 kids, I was 97 pounds.
97.
Whoa.
Yeah. So before I had,
How tall are you?
Damn.
I'm 5 foot and 3/4.
Wow.
Got thrown the 3/4.
She threw the 3/4 in there. So that's not there. She can't legally drive.
Yeah.
Like, then,
seats.
then I get a handicap sticker, front row parking. But
The gas and brake pedals are on the steering wheel.
So funny.
But
I just wanted to say thank you for taking your time away from the North Pole to come be on this podcast.
Santa's like, where the hell's Sheree?
yeah, really. That's
All
what started the
love.
journey. Is I was lifting
All-
for Santa.
All love. All love.
Oh my
Anyway.
God, that was so funny.
But yeah, so I was like 100 and some pounds before like I had a kid. And like as I had kids, actually I would drop weight.
Wow.
So like
That's
my
wild.
heaviest, my first child I had like was 126 pounds. That's like 104 pounds in like 2 weeks. So I never struggled with like holding weight or gaining weight. I guess not gaining weight, but dropping the weight. And then my heaviest I was 132 when I delivered my youngest, who's now 16.
Your youngest is 16.
Yeah, and my oldest is 23.
Whoa.
Yeah, 23.
And you don't look that old at all. You look like you're 32.
No, you look
Yeah,
orange.
thank you.
You look, seriously. It's bodybuilding.
Yeah, seriously, I looked a lot older if you go back to my before photos.
Really?
Yeah, so I mean, like with me, like I said, which it's funny because 132 pounds delivering my third baby, I actually weighed 133 on the dot today, this morning. So I've been teetering between 133 and 135 the last couple of weeks.
Wow.
So it's crazy to think. That's the reason people shouldn't pay attention to the scale.
Yeah, body composition.
It's so different. So before I was
That's crazy.
no muscle anywhere except for just a belly for 132 pounds, and now there's muscle and not a lot of belly.
Yeah.
So it's just body composition. Doesn't matter about the scale.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
But yeah, so I started. I was super insecure for having kids, especially because I had kids at such a young age. And my first daughter, when I got pregnant at 17, had her at 18. Well, sorry, got pregnant at 16. Had her right before I almost turned 18. I did not have good elasticity on my skin, so I got stretch marks right away. Had the mommy belly, but I kind of worked out when I was younger. I would do like 150 sit-ups a night. I would go jogging. I would do calf raises. Like, I didn't have a gym or anything. I didn't know anything about fitness. I just did that. But so when I got pregnant, my abs were so tight that it almost like didn't look like I was pregnant for the longest time. And I was like, doctors were like, oh, this young mom isn't eating. Like, they wanted me to track my food because they didn't think I was eating because I wasn't gaining weight.
Just the crunches, bro.
Yeah.
Just the crunches.
Yeah. And so, like, I woke up one morning, though, and I was, like, 8 months pregnant. And, like, boom, my stomach. Like, my abdomen finally popped open to allow my stomach to expand.
Wow.
God, dude.
So, like, I woke up literally looking like I got, like, pregnant by an alien overnight or something. Like,
I know,
something
and
crazy. Like, literally, I just
immaculate
woke up and I was,
conception.
like, shocked to see, like, this belly.
Holy.
Which created
shit, dude.
my stretch marks right away. Because
Yeah.
it grew out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, since I was 17, been insecure because my stomach was different than everybody else's. So I was just super emotional about
And
it.
were you married at the time?
No, I was not married. I was with my daughter's dad for like 5 years, and then we split, and then
Gotcha.
had my other kids. But like another thing from that is he told me nobody would love me because I had stretch marks and blah blah blah. So like when I was trying to leave him, he's like, "No guy's gonna want you. You have stretch marks." So instantly, I was insecure about my stretch marks
Unbelievable.
even more.
I just like
So-
how can you say that to someone that you care about, but they're the mother of your child. How can
Yeah.
you just say that and think, oh, this is normal? This is a normal thing to say to somebody. No one's gonna love you because you have stretch marks.
Yeah. So
I don't even
so was
think of that.
No.
Like,
So-
I don't even talk to my dogs like that.
No, but I mean, God forbid you get stretch marks. Like, hey, you just grew a human being in you. Like,
That's
you know,
crazy.
but people say to be proud of them. Yes, like be proud of them.
Yeah.
But-
we can't do that.
But that is also the insecurity.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was
It's
just
just
me.
yeah. What a weak, pathetic person. I mean, okay. I hope he doesn't listen to
No.
Is
He's
he gonna listen?
he-
Okay.
no,
You're weak and pathetic, bro.
Yes, definitely.
He knows. He knows that.
I mean, it sucks because that's been my insecurity from
Yeah.
such a young age. And so, like, obviously, then, like, having, relationships or whatever going forward, it was just, like, super insecure, didn't want to see my body. Then as I had, my other children, still the same thing. I pretty much, gained weight slowly that time because I think my abs kind of broken already at that point. Not broken, but expanded.
Yeah.
And I had my third one, and then even like after I was super insecure, compared myself to every other person at the pools, at the beaches, or whatever, and walked around just super insecure. And so then that's when my other children's dad, we decided to start doing the P90X thing, because the problem is we were going through some stuff, and like I asked like what I needed to do to be a better partner. I had given him a list, like a long list of stuff, and like his only thing was like, you need to have confidence. I can tell you every day you're beautiful and you don't believe me. So like we started doing the P90X stuff together, and then like I just fell in love. Like at first it was super sore, I hated it. We started doing like following a diet, and eating right, which before that I didn't know how to eat. Like I was the McDonald's mom, like I hated cooking. I was like, oh, I have to do this cooking stuff for my kids. Like I hate it. Like it was just annoying. I just didn't really cook very much. And then huge change. All of a sudden, like all these vegetables, all this real food. And I was like, oh, this is so hard. But like we did it, and which expanded like my palate of food, because I never really ate vegetables. I never really ate clean. So it was like kind of like eye opening, but I started feeling better, started getting more energy, felt really good. And then, did the P90X. And then like at the time my kid's dad's like, okay, well, I'm done. We did P90X. I'm done. And like went back to like, we went on vacation to Disneyland that last week. So we were doing like in the gym at the resort. And, he's like, okay, well, I'm done. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, we got to continue this.
Like he watched all the DVDs, got to the end. It's like, okay, know how it ends.
No, like,
We're
yeah,
good.
we did the full 90 days.
Yeah.
And he was just like, okay, like, he just thought I was going to go back to, like, this was, like, a bucket list thing. Like, we're going to do P90X because everybody's supposed to start it, not finish.
Dude, I want to do this.
Yeah, and I was
more.
like, what do you mean? Like, I love it. Like,
Yeah.
And for being such an insecure person and, like, feeling like I was never, like, the pretty girl or, like, the popular girl, like, everybody's like, oh, my God, what are you doing? Like, I would go to work and they're like, oh, my God, why does your chest, like, look so good? Like, what are you doing? Your shoulders look so good. And I was like, oh, my God, I'm getting all this attention. Like, I didn't even know what to do with it because of the attention I was getting.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, it felt good to like feel happy with it myself. And so like, I was like, dude, I'm not stopping. So I did like P90X like for like a year, just kept redoing it every, 90 days. And then started doing like Insanity and got that. Like, so I was doing morning cardio with Insanity.
So you're the crazy one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was dying at 5 in the morning.
yeah.
I used to like be the girl, like slept into like literally like 10 minutes before I had to go to work and get me and my kids ready out the door. Like I hated getting up and getting ready. I was super tired all the time. obviously with 3 kids, because I was like almost like a single mom. My kids' dad worked 2 jobs. I worked a full-time job. So then I was taking the kids back and forth, whatever. So I have never had energy. And so like for some reason I was like, okay, I'm going to do this program. It's like 45 to an hour of like HIIT cardio stuff constantly. So before I was even a bodybuilder, before I even thought of bodybuilding, I was doing my fasted cardio in the morning with Insanity. And then I'd lift weights at night at home.
Okay.
After I put the kids to bed.
Yep.
So I was already just like in that lifestyle of like cardio, lifting, eating healthy, making my kids separate foods. And then that's kind of like,
What did he think as you kept doing it?
I mean, he was fine with it.
Was he?
Yeah. Like he was fine with it.
He's like, okay, have fun.
Yeah. Cause like I would still like,
that's
they
good.
all like partied or whatever. Like, so I would still go to parties with them, whatever. I just wouldn't drink. I'd be the DD. So everybody had a DD. I would still go out and take my food. Like I would have like meals, like, even if it's like a protein bar or something, like at 2 a.m. eating a protein bar because I felt like I had to eat something. I was like, I'm gonna go catabolic. I gotta eat protein every 2 hours.
Stop it. Shit that we think about sometimes.
Dude, I do that. And then I get home and I'm looking in the mirror. I'm like, dude, you skinny bitch. Like this is what you get for not eating. And I'm like, okay, you don't. I know that's not how it works, but it's funny that we convince ourselves.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen if we don't eat.
Yeah.
And
when we're supposed to.
The one thing that I want to talk about though, really quick, is that when it comes to health and fitness, and if you guys are listening to this, we never stop. It's not like we take a break once. I mean, we do that once in a while, right? To kind of give our pellets a little bit of a break from eating the same thing.
But it might be like what, a day, or if we go on vacation, it might be we'll splurge a little bit. But
But that's very, very few in between. If you look at a full year, how much food we actually consume consistently around the holidays, around the birthdays, around your anniversaries, it's almost like we don't take any time off, right? Especially when you're a bodybuilder, when you want to compete, if you are a pro and you want to be the best of the best, dude, it's like 7 days a week. It's a nonstop.
It's a second job.
It is. It is very much like a second job.
It really is. It's very time consuming.
Yeah.
I mean, it's rewarding.
And another side of that is people look at us like, man, you guys are crazy. Why are you restricting? Why are you not eating this? Why are you not enjoying
You
life?
must not be happy.
You must not be happy.
I get that all the time.
We
No,
do.
Or you think we don't like food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you're so bored.
We had-
Like there's my brother gives me that all the time. He's like, you could eat other things aside from chicken. Like, I know you hate food and you're picky, but come on. I'm like, no.
we're
I know
not
how I
picky.
feel when I eat this, but I know how I feel when I eat
Yep.
the pizza that we get for dinner. So if I'm going to pick.
Yeah. So for all the listeners out there looking at our physique, our transformation, just know that 1, it's not easy. It's never been easy. But 2, we have to deal with a lot of criticism from our own families, friends. We have to have new
Coworkers,
friends.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's not easy to be an anomaly, because I have a lot of clients that are listening to this right now, and they all have the same conversation. Every single one of them, dude, I feel so awkward eating in front of people, and I'm like,
You need to eat,
so
dude.
it's the weirdest feeling, but I've been there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been to a meeting where I'm like, kind of don't want to show people. I'll eat in the hallway before I walk in the meeting or something like that. I felt so self-conscious for eating healthy.
Well, it's like when I started with you, I worked at Netflix at the time. And then when I got into management, I mean, we had meetings all the time. And I think it was the vice president of Netflix was at our office. And at that point, I was already deep into this. I got the meal plan down, the routine was eating. And so I'd put in my calendar when I needed to eat. And the meeting was like 6 hours. 2 hours into it, my calendar goes off saying it's time to eat. So I got up and left and got my food, came back, and I'm eating. In the meeting, my boss, she turns around, she's like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, I got to eat.
Yeah.
Like, you just expect me to not eat for the next 6 hours? Like, I'm going to eat, and then in 2 hours from now, I'm going to go do the same thing. So she was like, kind of messaging me on the side, like, you can't just get up and leave when he is talking to eat. I'm like, I got to. And then after the meeting, he approached me, and he's like, I saw you eating twice during this meeting. And he's like, is it like a health thing? I'm like, so I kind of explained to him what I do. He's like, oh yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
And he was asking me questions about it. So I'm like, you got to do what you got to do at this point.
I mean, so she was probably more worried because it's such a professional atmosphere.
It was,
and they're like, what's going on?
Yeah, and it's the vice president of Netflix. Like, you kind of, I get it, but I'm like, dude, I got to eat. Like, and it's on my calendar. This was scheduled before the meeting, so.
Like, sorry.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, I just went, grabbed my chicken and rice, came back
no
and
one's
ate.
going to tell you, hey, don't eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
I mean, I
everywhere.
I actually don't like the part where when you go into an event You can't bring your own water.
No
You
outside
can't bring
food
your
or drink.
No
Yeah.
outside. I'm like, oh,
Especially not outside of water, outside drinking. I'm like,
yeah.
it's a water bottle.
Yeah.
I'm so annoyed sometimes. You know what I mean? But I'm
It's
like,
because they're
okay.
going to sell the water bottles for
$5.
$5,
Yeah.
$6.
I was at Delta Center yesterday
Yeah.
for Disney on Ice. $5.50
It makes
for
you
a
almost like,
bottle.
I'm not drinking water.
I'm like, are you
I cannot pay
kidding
over
me?
But then
price
how much
for
was
that.
the soda?
The same amount, the same. Well, it's a little bit more. It was by $8.99, almost $10 for a soda. God,
I'm like, I'm just gonna sit here and find not.
I'm just gonna put a pebble in my mouth so I can just
put
get
ice.
saliva.
just eat ice.
I'm like the ice swabs that you put at the hospital.
Yep.
Just little ice swabs.
Back to your journey. So, when did you exactly started that you're thinking that you want to compete?
So I started eventually, like after doing like a couple of years of like work. Well, so actually I did the Beachbody stuff, which was the P90X type stuff. They were hosting like a competition, the bodybuilding competition for like your journey, right? I didn't know how serious it was, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I kind of want to do this. And we had already had a family trip planned to for a week trip to California. So I was like, okay, like, but this wasn't even like, I didn't realize. So I was like, I'm signing up for this bodybuilding show. Okay, cool. And then like finally like realized after like a couple of, I think like maybe like a month into the prep or 2 months into the prep. And I had no coach. This was in 2014. Instagram was barely kind of coming out. And
Yeah.
you were like,
Oh yeah.
there wasn't a lot of like, so I knew nobody.
Just reading.
Who
Just
bodybuilded.
go read Arnold's book.
Yeah, I even then I didn't even know. Like I never followed bodybuilding. Like some people like I knew like some of them, but not like all these bodybuilders. You know. Like some people, you know. So I really didn't know much about it, but I was like, I just want to do it because I used to go to the gym and people were like, oh, do you compete? Because I've always had like vascular arms. Like I was just really lean because I was doing all these workouts and I was already prepping for shows technically. I was doing fasted cardio, working out at night, doing my meals. Like, so I was just like, okay, I'm gonna try this. And so I only tried it because one, people kept asking if I would do it, and two, I was like, I was always super insecure with my body. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just try to overcome this fear and like step on stage and like see what happens. So I did the show or whatever, no coach, no cheat meal for 6 months because I coached myself. Didn't know anything about it. So I was like, you just can't have cheat meals. So I didn't think you could have cheat meals. Ate chicken rice, had like some turkey, had some avocado, some peanut butter, things like that.
You're on the right track, sort of.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm doing this, whatever. But then I think like almost a month out, somebody told me vegetables make you bloat, so don't eat them right before your show. I didn't eat vegetables for a month.
Oh, wow.
So when I got done with my show, the first thing I was craving was like a salad. So I went to Cafe Rio and got like this like Cafe Rio salad. So
course.
much
veggies,
fiber, right? So my stomach felt like I was like,
Yeah.
it was so expanded. I felt like there was somebody stabbing me in my stomach. Like I was in like the fetal position with stomach pains because of all the vegetables from not eating it for so long. So, anyways, I did this show, but the reason with the trip is I didn't realize it was the same week.
Oh.
So my family, we had already planned this. So we're like, okay, we were driving out to San Diego. So we still drove out there the whole time while my kids and my kids' dad, they would go out to eat. They dropped me off at the gym while they went out to eat. They'd come pick me up, and then we go back to to our condo, and I'd grill my food.
Oh.
And so like they got it. Like I still did everything with them. I just didn't eat with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then like we were on the beach and I was like, I need to find something. I didn't have food with me. And I was like, I went to like some shrimp place. I'm like, can you give me some shrimp with no butter, no nothing, just shrimp. Literally just eating shrimp by itself, just playing on the beach. Like I needed to eat something, right? So I was like, this is better than nothing. So it was always me just realizing to prioritize my proteins to make sure I got something healthy, even if it was somewhere out, like trying to ask for the most healthiest options. People never trip. Like I think a lot of people are like, oh, I can't ask for that. I'm like, no, you could ask them like, hey, I can't have any butters. I can't have any sauces. I need my food as plain as possible, So that's kind of, I did that. And then on the way home, we drove back to Vegas where the show was. And we stayed there and I did my show.
Oh, dude, you were stressed out.
I wasn't even stressed. I was just like, I'm just doing this.
Chilling?
whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like,
Because anytime you travel, I mean, it's automatic.
yeah, I think
stress.
it's just so, I was so used to chaos, I think, from being a mom and almost being a single mom. Like my at the time, my ex was there, helping pay half the bills or doing whatever. But then like, I was just always with the kids. So like for me, I was just so used to just being busy nonstop, go, then figure out my workouts. So for me, it was always just something I had always done. So I did that, did the show. It was like really weird. Didn't know what I was expecting. There was people there that were like, had lost a ton of weight, but weren't fit, which is great. I mean, they just weren't like show ready for a bodybuilding show.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, like I lost 200 pounds. I'm like, dude, hell yeah. Like I'd be glad to show off my 180 pound body at that point too, you know? So I was like, you know, it was positive as support, like whatever. But then there was like a lot of people there that were like also dedicated, like became chiseled, looking like they're ready to go on stage. So out of 200 women, there wasn't like a category. There was just like women and men.
Okay.
So from what I was expecting was like, I don't know if it's figure, if it's bikini. So like I went like a figure suit and like heels. Out of 200 women, I placed top 20.
Wow.
With no coach, figuring it out by myself. I don't know where I fell between top 10 and 20. I just didn't make top 10. So I was like, okay, cool. I love this. And then somebody like had told me about somebody that had a coach, and I was like, oh, like you should let this guy coach you, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. So started with him coaching, doing a show here, and then just fell in love.
Wow.
So yeah.
Fell in love. That's when the bodybuilding starts.
I mean, really fell in love like when I was doing it on my own already, but like to have the guidance and not realize like, I was like, okay, like when I was up at like, I was at the gym till like 1 a.m. sometimes because I would have to wait till my kids went to bed.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about when you were going through this journey. Because so how many shows have you done?
I've done a total of I think 12.
12 shows.
I think so, yeah.
And with the span of since 2014, 15?
2014 was my first show, and that's the only show I had a relationship. So
got it.
2014 actually we went through our split, and then I became a single mom, moved out, did my own thing. Both of my kids' dads didn't pay very much in child support, so I was pretty much paying my own bills, trying to support all 3 kids. I had them. They only had him like
full custody?
Full custody. Well, basically, for my daughter, her dad was pretty much non-existent in and out of the picture. He didn't have her regularly. He would just come and get her occasionally. My other 2 kids' dad, he was really good with them. He supported all 3 of them technically, like as far as like being a dad. Yeah. So he was a good dad. Wouldn't take that from him at all. But I had him he only had them every Wednesday and every other weekend. Got it. So basically, it was all on me. And again, minimal. I think it was like $600. I think for 3 kids, I got.
Yeah.
So he was the main supporter also. Like he made all the money because I was always taking care of the kids. And so I didn't have enough money obviously to raise 3 kids on my own because I wasn't working. At the time when I had left, I was actually I was trying to start coaching. So I got laid off a job that I had for 12 years or 10 years doing like medical flexible spending accounts, managing those. And I got laid off and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this fitness thing. And that's kind of when I started doing my bodybuilding, the show. And I was like, I'm gonna do coaching and then became single. And then I'd go out and find jobs. So like my jobs I was like working at UPS at like 3 a.m. So I went to like UPS from like 3 to 8 and then went to home to get my kids, or like 3 to 7 or something like that. Went home, got my kids ready for school, took them to school, I worked in a warehouse for a specialized bicycles. Worked there from 8 to 5. Whoa. 8 or 9 to 5, something like that. Would go home, feed the kids, make sure they're doing their homework, and then every like 3 or 4 times a week I would go to GNC and work from 6 to 9. And then I'd go home, make sure the kids are in bed, go to the gym and work out.
When like serious question, when the hell would you sleep?
Yeah.
So
that's my question.
I probably had, so again, I would go to the gym at like 9, so I'd come home about 11. And then I would sleep until about 2. I get up at 2, do Insanity, or well, at the time it was T25. It was like 25-minute workout. Did 25 minutes of cardio before I went to go to UPS. So I was like
getting
3 4 hours of sleep. Yeah. Yeah. And I would go to the gym and I would like lay on the bench for a minute. And I went to like a gym where everybody knew me. Like it was like, kind of how FTC is. Yeah. And they're like, Sheree, what are you doing here? Go home. Like I would lay on the bench for a minute and like 5 minutes, just like, they're like, just go home. Like, no, I gotta get my workout in. And I was like, I'm doing this. I got to do it. And I was there and I was like so drained, but I was just like, I'm just going to show up and do it. No pre-workout sometimes, like just go in there. Like, honestly, I don't know how I do it. Like I look back now and I'm like, who was I?
Could you imagine if one of our clients said they were doing that? We'd be like, sit down.
I would lose. I would lose my
mind.
shit. Yeah, I would lose my shit actually. Okay, so back to you're not sleeping.
Yeah.
How long did you do that for?
I think I did it for, I think I finally decided to give up UPS because that was the one that was killing me the most. So I think I did UPS. I was trying to stay there the longest because they had the best benefits and like long term would be like, okay, this will make sense. I think I did that I think it was 6 or 7 months. Wow. 6 or 7 months. And I was like, I was just drained.
And were you prepping at all at this point?
So at that point, yes. No. I think I was like I think like right in the beginning of my prep, I think I started. I think finally, like, I think right before my show, I think I ended up quitting. But even then, my coach was, because I was so active, I mean, I was not sitting. All three of my jobs were me standing, so I didn't ever sit and rest.
So you don't really need to do cardio.
Which I still was. I was still waking up before and doing cardio.
Crazy.
So yeah, and it was HIIT cardio, like extreme sweating, like not walking on a treadmill cardio. I was like full on like doing burpees, high knees, Heisman's, like all these crazy movements. And so my coach was feeding like 3,000. Originally, he was trying to. The only reason I actually did women's physique is because he's the one that suggested it. I was thinking like figure or something like that, and he was like trying to like originally what he was gonna do is I did the August show and then was gonna do the October show, and so for the August show he's gonna try to like soften me up to make bikini and then shred me down for October and do women's physique. So he was feeding like 3,000 calories trying to like, because I was always so lean. So he was like feeding like 3,000 calories and I was like just getting abs. Like, dude, how are you getting abs? Like you're eating like over 3,000 calories. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, so like my body obviously just needed it. So yeah, finally then like I stopped doing the whole thing and the whole morning shift with UPS, but still getting up at like 4 a.m. to do cardio and get the kids ready and go to work. And
so during those moments when you did the 3 jobs, what was your emotional capacity during those times, having 3 kids, 3 jobs?
Did you have time to
I don't think I
Where
did.
do you
So
have fine?
I think so. Like when I left my kids' dad, we had talked about support a little bit, child support, and he was like, the only reason you want the kids is because you want my money. And I'm like, you worked 2 jobs. I've been raising these kids. I want the kids because I take care of them. Like, you're working.
You also gave birth to the kids.
Yeah. So it was like kind of like when I first left, the first month or 2, I was like, I didn't get any money from them. I'm like, I don't need your money then. I'll take my kids. I don't care. Like, you can still see them.
Yeah.
But if you think that's the reason I want my kids full time, it's like, no. So after 2 months, I think he realized like, oh, she really doesn't want my money. Shit. So finally he's like, okay, here's some money, you know. And we never went to the courts. He was like, here, this is what I'm going to give you. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. But I think it was that a lot of the family and my kids' family like assumed like I was going to fail or I was going to party. I was going to be some shitty mom. And so for me, like my drive was just like, I'm going to prove to everybody that I will be the best fucking mom. Like, you know what I mean? So I just did that. And like, I mean, I still go, like, my kids talk about it now, like that they're older.
Yeah,
And like,
how old were your kids at the time when you were
so
doing
I
this?
think my daughter was 14. My son was probably around 10, 11. And then my youngest was like 6 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So like my 14-year-old, like she did a lot of help. Like she would see I was stressed out and she's like, Mom, just go to the gym. I'll give them a bath and put them to bed.
Oh,
like
I
she's
love that.
literally a little mommy, which I mean, I think long term now it's probably messed with her a little bit, but sorry, babe. But like she became like a little second mom, you know, like, and it was never me asking. I think she just was that
helpful.
Yeah. Which the older kid usually ends up taking that hit, but she was just like, just go to the gym, Mom. Like I'll take care of the kids. I'll put them to bed. So like she helped out, you know, on days I was like super drained or I was frustrated a lot because I was just like, dude, I'm broke still. I'm trying to like do this. I'm trying to do that. And nobody also told me how much competing was. Like with my clients now, I'm like, okay, look, I give them like, this is the fees, this is the fees, this is the fees, this is the fees. Yeah. Like nobody was like, hey, here's the fees.
Just especially just on the women's side. Because for us, we just have to pay for the MPC card, our tan, the show registration, the classes, and then our board shorts, what are like $40. Yeah. But the suits
cost more.
I mean, with
just to rent it, it's still like,
well, to rent it's expensive, but then with seeing my wife make them and sell them and all that, she's trying to make it fair for the competitor because of how much like these actual companies are charging. But it's still, I mean, you're still looking. I mean, you could hit over $1,000 just for a suit, and then you have to get the heels, the makeup, the jewelry, the tan,
and pay for the actual fees,
pay for the show and everything, and then you have to be up butt ass crack of dawn to get your makeup done. But then you're the last ones to go on. Yeah, so you're up.
Well, technically, women's physique goes on first usually. So.
But but after all the men's, I mean, you could be up between 9 to 12 hours before you're even on stage. Yeah. So
so
it's crazy.
So I think for me, I think it was just adrenaline not to fail.
Yeah,
was really it. I was definitely in a dark spot. I think like I was just so busy, I just chose not to. I think that was like became my outlet to like not feel.
You feel like you're avoiding.
I was avoiding
emotions.
I was avoiding emotions for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, which it's so crazy because I dealt with them little by little still. Like I still could tell like I still have like emotions to release and frustrations, and every once in a while they'll come and go, or frustrations will come and go now, and it's like, you know, like I still now like use the gym as I'm so sad or something I don't want to feel, I'm just gonna go to the gym. Which it's great for my physique, right? Like great, I'm gonna look great, but like mentally, like I'm definitely like have some places that I need to like deal with.
Did you remember that one time when I had a one-on-one with my client and she was having a hard time? Right, I'm not gonna say her name.
The one in the office. Yeah,
I'm not gonna say her name, but we were having a really hard conversations, and one of the things that we talked about is prioritizing herself first as a mom. And then I remember you walked in, and this is towards the end of our conversation. I was like, "Hey, Sheree, can you give us some pointers? Tell her that what you've done and how did you do it? Having 3 kids, 3 jobs. Where did you have that space? Right? What drives you?" And then I think I remember that one thing that you said to her. I'm like, "Well, I'm just because I look the way I look now, but it doesn't mean that I didn't break." You said something.
I told her. I said, I used to go. Before fitness, I used to go in the bathroom because I never had time alone. And I would literally just sit there and cry. I was so overwhelmed, and my kids were like, "Mom, Mom, Mom." And their dad wasn't there because he was working 2 jobs, so he was gone most of the nights. And I was just like, I couldn't handle it. Like, I was like, okay, I need to lock myself in here because I'm going to either, one, lash out on my children. I'm going to do something, like, crazy. Like, I don't know where I'm at right now. Like, emotionally, I was like, I'm ready just to blow up. And I was like, I'm just going to stay here. And I would just cry. And like, Mom, like, I have, like, little fingers, like, going underneath the
like
door.
A film.
Mom, like, pounding on the door, like, screaming, like, as if something was going wrong. But they just were so used to me being constantly, like, I couldn't even lock the door to go to the bathroom. Like, my kid would sit literally next to me on the bathtub and have conversations while I'm going to the bathroom. I'm like,
hey.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, like, can I just do this in private, please? So, like, the fact that I actually locked the door a few times freaked them out. Like, why don't I have access to my mom? But, like, I would just cry, and I was like, man, and she just broke down. And I almost started just bawling with her. And I was like, dude, like, it's a dark spot for moms. Like,
this is something that we see a lot, especially with our female clients who have kids, is that they put themselves last. So, you know, they make sure husband is taken care of, or the, you know, significant other, make sure the kids are, and then they're trying to be the homemaker, they're trying to do all these things. So when they come to us and we start telling them, like, you're gonna have to learn to say no and ask for help, and then you need to eat your food, you need to go to the gym, see, you know, drop the kids off with your parents, do something. It almost, I mean, I understand scheduling wise it can be tough, but it almost seems like it scares them because they feel like they're so dependent on that they have a very hard time breaking that cycle. And it's sad to see because if you're not 100%, how can you take care of your kids? How can you, I mean, how could you found the will and the drive to get up and work 3 jobs, get 3 hours of sleep and take care of them. But if you didn't have that why, but you knew you needed to do something, how are you going to do it?
You can probably do it for a year. Maybe
if
3. If you're lucky to get to that point. You know how many moms or even fathers too, right? I mean, they probably have similar situations too as a father where you can only go so much. Your battery has been empty for so long, and the next thing you know, they knock on our door and say, "Hey, yo, I need help." And when we do the client assessment, kind of get to know them, why they wanted to start. And I mean, I've seen some crazy stories of why they want to do this. And I think the biggest thing that we do, to be honest with you, I think I love what we do because we're not only changing someone's physical, but we're changing people's lives because we went through the same shit. You went through the same thing, you know? And that's why I love that when you walk in that office and I was like, hey, and then you talk to her and she got even more emotional at that point. And that was the beginning. And that was like the first couple of weeks of her starting the program. And the thing that she always tell me, she goes, I thought you just give me a meal plan and a workout program. And I'm like, that is literally the easiest part of our job. Just so
if it was that simple, we wouldn't have a job.
Exactly.
We wouldn't have a job. But there's so much more that goes into it. And I think that's the intimidating part is people think you just, so I just follow this meal plan, I eat it, I go to the gym a couple of times, and then all my problems go away.
Yeah.
It's like, not really. This is going to take time. Even we tell them our program's 24 weeks. They almost have an expectation of, so I'm going to be who I want in 24 weeks from now. It's like, probably not.
No,
9 times out of 10, you're not going to.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And that's not because of any fault of yours or, how our program works. It's just, in reality, you can't undo years and years and years of bad habits and stress and, mental fatigue, whatever you want to call it, in 6 months.
Yeah.
So talk about your why. So what drives you to be the mom that you are today? And how did you even go through that without even having any support system at the time?
So I mean, as far as like support system, I had good support system as far as family, just not like my
Significant other.
not significant other. Yeah. I mean, he was super supportive. He's like, okay, like, I'm really like happy for you being, that's great. You do you, but I'm going to do me. Like, it was not like, I'm going to join this journey with you.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, my why, like, originally my why was, I used to cry looking at myself in the mirror, looking at my stomach, like wishing I was like all the other girls, who had kids, especially because even at that point, after 3 kids, I had other, people, family, cousins who had kids, but nobody had the same stomach as me. I had like the loose skin. It's like used to hang. I would be doing push-ups like in a sports bra, and I would like look down. I could see my stomach just dangling.
Yeah.
And it was just, I was like, I was like, okay. I honestly always just joke around. I'm like, I think God gave me stretch marks to like humble me. Like this, like, because I was like, I'm just a skinny girl. Like I didn't really think I had to work out because I was always skinny, not realizing like my arms were like frail as hell, like the size of my wrist right now, But like, if I didn't have that flaw that I thought was a flaw, right, for having kids, I don't think I would have pushed as hard. But every day I looked at my stomach and was like, okay, I need to fix this. I need to fix this. And I knew I didn't have the money to get a tummy tuck. I was like, there's no way that's going to ever be a thing. Yeah. So I'm like, I need to work my ass off to get this, to fix it, because I'm tired of looking in the mirror and being insecure. Yeah. So for me, I feel like, so my why was originally like, well, with my stomach was a big why, just to fix and feel pretty, to feel happy with myself. And to feel confident, because like I said, my partner was telling me the only thing I need to change is my confidence. Like, okay, then I need to do this to be a better person for my partner. But like, then then also was because I was always tired. My kids were like, Mom, let's go to the park, let's do this. And I was just drained all the time. Like, I used to only work 1 job and be with my kids and be tired to go to the park. Yeah. But then I was able to work 3 jobs when I started being fit and eating healthy and eating right. So like, for me, it was like my kids, I want to be a better mom. I want to be better for them. I need to be a better partner. I want to be confident. I want to not be insecure. And then, I mean, obviously now over the years it's changed. Like now a big of my thing for my why is, when you start getting fit, obviously people start seeing it. People get inspired. People, come to you and ask you how you did it. Why are you doing it? What's going on? And like now as a coach, like there's some coaches that are like, what's the best way I can make money? Like for me, I'm like, dude, like I just love changing lives. Yeah. Like it's not even, granted, I just tell people, like, I have to obviously use it.
We have bills that we have to pay.
Yeah.
But
so
it's
like,
obvious when you find a coach who's in it because they truly care versus the coach who's in it for the money. Yeah. It's very obvious the difference.
And so like for me, it was just like the more and more women that I have coming to me, they're like, oh my gosh, I probably, and it's so funny because G hates this. Like we'll go out in public and be like, oh my God, I can't be second place. Oh my God, I saw you like this and that. And I'm like, but it's like, it's awesome that people come up to me like, oh my God, I've been watching your story and you've changed so much. Or, oh, you inspired me. Like some girls have come to me like, oh my gosh, like I showed my coach a picture of you because you're on my screensaver. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm just an everyday person. Like I'm not.
It's a weird feeling.
So I mean, it's like, and I mean, it's not even that, I'm not even to that extreme level, but that little level that I've reached of people saying that I've changed their lives, or I made them want to go to the gym, or even my clients now that are like, I went through divorce and I was, they were broken, and then now they're like dropped all this weight and now they're trying to build muscle. And so for me, I'm just like, that's my why now. Like the fact I can change lives and make somebody else's life better, and
to continue to motivate others and inspire all the moms out there.
Yeah. Because I mean, even I have a client that's saying like her sister is starting to be mean to her now that she's trying to get fit, and was like, oh, you've only like, she's lost 5 pounds and 10 inches in a month. And they're like, that's it? Only 5 pounds? You've been doing all this for 5 pounds? And I'm like, but it's 10 inches. Yeah. Your whole body's changed. Like you're sculpting it. Like, and so it's like, I mean, you have people around you. They're like, oh, but then eventually I told them, I was like, they're going to probably do that at first. Cause they're just kind of like, and then once you start really changing, I'm like, okay.
How did you do it? Can you share your meal plan with me?
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's not.
Or
how
what are you
works.
eating? Can you tell me what to eat?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think, you know, and just that in general. I mean, and obviously just continuing being, because now, I mean, I have, my kids are older, but with G and the little ones, like, his little daughter, like, is now looking up to me and like things like that. Like, just having these kids that can like teach them better, be a good role model for them. Like,
you've become the person you wish you would have had.
Yeah.
When you were younger, like that.
Yeah, because I never looked up to anybody. Yeah. Like, I mean, granted, my mom's passed now, but like I love her to death, and she was still into fitness here and there. Like, she would be on the floor doing like some aerobic stuff and eating rice cakes, and I thought it was healthy because I was eating rice cakes when I was little, you know, like just these little things. But like, there was no like, we didn't have those conversations like that I have with my kids now about like being healthy, telling them like my kids all like, you know, like you were saying, like the whole kids, how they feel about it. Like my kids support me 100%. Like I was actually talking about last night, because she was like, what are you going to talk about? And I was like, talking about the story. And I was like, so like one thing is so funny, like my Instagram's I can't be second place. And I was like,
yeah, let's talk about that.
I was like, I literally got that name because of my kids. And so like, I was like 2 weeks out from a show, and I took my kids out to Baskin Robbins, and I was like, oh man, that looks so good. I was like, tell me how that tastes. I was like, what is it? I was like, just give me a little bite, actually. Just give me a little bite. And my daughter's like, she was like 14, maybe 16 at that point. She was probably like 16. She's like, Mom, do you want to know what this tastes like? And I'm like, what? She's like, it tastes like second place. Oh. And I was like, okay, I won't. Like, I was this close to
first
cheating.
off, you're grounded. Two.
I'm like, don't ever talk to me that way again, young lady.
First of all,
Let me set this straight. I am your mom.
Damn.
She's always been like, her and I are like this, you know? And
So funny.
I went to bed, whatever. She used to grab my phone or whatever. So like, I went to bed one day and like woke up, and I didn't notice it, I guess, for a couple of days. And finally one day I'm like, noticed my Instagram handle said I can't be second place.
Oh, like, she did it.
So she changed. I was like,
oh, that's funny.
What the hell? And I was so offended. I was so pissed. I was like, why would you do that? Oh my God. Like, I was going to change. She's like, Mom, why are you so upset? Because like, I was upset because I knew I almost cheated on my plan. Like, I was embarrassed. I was like, oh, this is a like attack at me. And I was so upset. She's like, Mom, why are you so, she's like, oh my God, just leave it. She got like, we got this big old fight. Like, me and this teenage like daughter of mine, like, no, I can't believe you would call me out like that. Like, I was so mad. And so, she's like, just leave it. Oh my gosh, it sounds so cool. And so I just left. And then people were like, would come up to me like, okay, I can't be second place. And I was like, all right. Like,
that was the first impression of you. Yeah. When I first met you and I saw you on social media, and then I started following you. And I think, when did you turn pro, by the way?
2021.
2021. Yeah. And I've been following you, I think, since
like
2018, 2019,
Mm-hmm.
when I first started with Transform. And I could not, for the love of God, remember your name, but I remember that handle. I can't be second place. And to me, when I first read it, I'm like, dude, that's sick.
Yeah.
That is so clever. Just like Unfinished Lifestyle. People always talk about our company. I'm like, oh, dude, that's so genius. I'm like, really? I just kind of pulled that out of my ass.
Just a name.
Whatever. Yeah. It was supposed to be Unfinished Fitness.
It took us forever to figure out what we were going to have.
Yeah, but fitness sounds very intimidating for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like
but yeah, I love that name, but I didn't know that story.
So I gave my 16-year-old daughter, because I was going to eat some Baskin Robbins ice cream and cheat on my plan.
So
2 weeks out from a show. So yeah, so I mean, they're always, but then sometimes they're like, Mom, just have a bite. So sometimes they try to like coax me like, Mom, but this is so good. You should just have a bite. I'm like, I can't. But Mom, it's so good. But like, I was the mom that would like, I would go and eat and then take them out to eat. Like, I would eat at home, take them out to eat. Take them to get their ice cream. Like,
so
it didn't bother me.
let's talk about that. Rick.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go down the same.
Oh,
thing
dude. We have a ton of clients. I love you guys.
Yes.
I love all of you.
But
we have a lot of clients that are unable to get to that point, right? It's the FOMO.
Yep.
It's the FOMO of not having the ice cream, the foods, the restaurants.
Not even just the FOMO. I think it's they think if they don't partake in the ice cream in the going out to eat, that they're disappointing someone.
Yeah.
Or that they're doing something wrong. And so we tell them that, well, eat at home and before you take the kids. Or if you are going to stop and get a McDonald's, just get them the food.
Yeah.
And then while they're at home eating, you don't have to do anything. They're eating and watching TV or doing whatever. Now you can make your food. Exactly. Well, I can't because I just don't have time. And if I'm already at McDonald's, sometimes it's just easier for me to get it. It's like if there's a will, there's a way. And I think hopefully once all these clients listen to this podcast, they can see now. You maybe don't get up at 2 a.m. to do insanity.
Yeah.
But if you can work 3 jobs and pretty much be a single mom and still do this, I love you all, but I mean, I don't think you really have that good of an excuse.
I mean, and honestly, like I said, like now I look at him, I'm like, there's no way. I mean, I don't think, I will say like, I'll shout out G really quick. Like, I don't think like, since being with G, he's gotten me to calm down. Like he's gotten me to relax. He's gotten me to not be like so go. Like to sit down. Like some days like he could tell like I want to cry. He's like, babe, just cry. And I'm like, and I'll start crying for a second. I'm like, okay, let's go. Like
it's okay.
Like it'll literally like one day like, babe, it's okay, just cry. And I was like, okay. And I was like for like 2 seconds, like, okay, let's go do what we were gonna do. Like just shutting it down. Like okay, I cried a little bit. Let me put it back down here because I have things to do. Like I just am like, okay, I know like I just like he keeps me to where I can now feel that, but like I don't know if I can because I'm not in such a dark mind space anymore. Like he's giving me a lot of peace.
Yeah, he is your peace.
Yeah. And so like I mean sometimes let's not give him. Okay. Sometimes I still want to kill him occasionally. Yeah. But like gotta keep him working, you know. No, just kidding.
If there isn't the worry that you're gonna kill your spouse, are you truly in love?
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Like, that's a trick question.
Yeah, but like I don't think I could do it. Like I look now and I'm like, there's days now I'm still tired, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, granted, yes, I'm older, but like I think I was just such like I never had a partner that helped me like as much. Like never had a like partner like, oh, like my kid's dad. Oh, it's Mother's Day. Don't do dishes. Just leave them for tomorrow. Like it was like they're gonna pile up.
Oh,
though.
So not that leave them for me to do, babe. It's just
so like
do it tomorrow.
Having G like who does stuff for me. Like so he's like got me like to like a safer space. Like my mindset's not as dark. I'm like not that like nonstop person. And he starts to bring me back to like reality. Is like, babe, you're not a single mom. Like you're not single Sheree anymore. You can ask for help. So like I don't think I would be able to do that anymore. So I think like it was because I was fighting so many demons. But it's like the reason why was like because I was in such a dark space. Like use that for your drive. Yep. You know, like that's what I like to say is like if you're in a dark space and if you're not happy with yourself, like just give your all for a little bit for yourself. Like my kids now will tell you like I am 10 times a better mom today than I was back then because I'm calmer. I'm not on edge. I'm happier. They look up to me about it. They like, because my kids are older now, so we go to the gym and they know, their friends know me. Like my daughter's 23, she has like 23-year-old boys. They're like, oh, I saw your mom today at the gym. And all through high school, like all of her friends were like, oh, how much does your mom bench? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, like, oh my God, your
more
mom
than you, bitch.
Yeah. Or then they would joke around about like, oh, does your mom sound like this, like a dude, because she has all this muscle? Like they used to like,
so
they would.
My mom
get
could beat
the
up your dad.
Like, yeah. So like it was just like, you know, like, but then now like they also have like me as their example, so they're in the gym. They know how to eat healthy. Like,
wasn't your daughter with you Thursday?
Yeah. My younger one. Yeah. Well, she comes. So she keeps she's trying to get to the whole journey. When she was little, because I started when she was like 2. Okay. So she had little pink weights. She would do little workouts with me with her pink weights at home. Like she was like, oh, look, Mom, I'm eating my healthy shake. And oh, Mom, I'm going to eat this. And oh, Mom, can we have salmon and this and this? And like just having healthier foods. But like now that she's a little bit older, she's like, Mom, I need to get back into it. Like, but she goes to her dad's and has different foods, and she's like, oh, Mom, I need to eat healthy today. Like, I don't want to go out to eat. I don't want to eat anything bad. I want to eat healthy. Like, they know like when they're coming to my house, they're gonna more likely eat healthier, or they have the healthier options. Yeah. And so,
but they know that you're not gonna push it on them.
Yeah,
you're gonna educate them. But if they ultimately want to go to Subway, they're gonna go to Subway. Yeah. So
and they
for them to come to you and say no. Like, can we have salmon? I mean, what kid do you know would be like, Mom, can we have salmon tonight? I don't want McDonald's.
Yeah. So like, or she'll be like, Mom, can you make me like the chicken rice? And as long as we have like the feast mode, like tequila lime, she's like, can you make tequila lime chicken rice for me? I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you know, but it's like they're all at least, you know, they decided to like see that healthier side. They have both options, right? Like they have a dad who doesn't eat healthy and who he goes to the gym, but he doesn't eat healthy, and you know, parties or whatever. Then they have like the mom who's like, they know they can count on for like healthy foods, or if like they're gonna come out, like they joke around. She's like, oh my God, Mom, you don't have to make this healthy, because like I try to find like alternatives, you know, to make things healthy, but. Like, they go to the gym, they want to eat healthy. Like, they might not be 100%, but at least they're aware of, like, the lifestyle that you can live. And if they want to
they're building the habits at a young age. We always say, you know, we wish we would have done this younger. I mean, I kind of did with my dad. You're still
younger than me, but...
Yeah, I mean, he's the one who got me into the gym, and I would try to eat healthy, but, I mean, ultimately, as a kid, you're like, chicken and rice or frozen pizza, I'm going to go with the pizza.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for him kind of setting that example... I don't think any of this would have happened.
Yeah. Back to what we wanted to talk about. I mean, we talked about this, about having the FOMO of not eating, you know, stuff with your kids or whatever. I think to the extreme, right? I mean, we're the extreme, I would say.
Yeah.
That we don't. eat anything when we bring our kids or to our family gatherings. Like we don't, because we are on prep for a show. We have no choice. And it's not because we didn't want to, because we chose to do that.
Yeah.
But to the people that are not doing this to the extreme, and they're doing it as a lifestyle, which is our clients, you have to understand that the food is always going to be there.
Yeah.
Literally. It's not going anywhere.
No.
Right? And so, yeah, sometime occasionally you do want to just eat with your family, have a bite. That's fine. Or two. That's fine. But understand that you've been suffering for so long. For so long. You hate how you look. You hate how you feel. The jeans doesn't fit. The shirt doesn't fit. You have to hide yourself. So then people wear oversized shirts or dresses because they want to hide the fluff, right? Remind yourself. Like, I remember the darkest days, especially when I'm on prep. It always happens when I'm on prep.
Yeah.
The darkest days, I always complain about, oh, man, like I should just stop. I should quit. I really want this. But at the same time, and then I remind myself, like, I remember when I used to feel so shitty about myself. And then, not to mention the people are doubting me that I can't do what I do.
Yep.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
That is my drive.
Yeah.
And so whatever you're going through, if you're listening to this right now, find your drive, find your why. Understand that the food is going to be there. It's not going anywhere.
No.
But the more you work on yourself, let's say you work on yourself for a year, you probably gain 3 to 5 years of your life.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel so much better.
Yep.
So much better. So how is your support system now?
My support system now is it's really good. I mean, obviously because G's in the gym with me. You know, he pushes me. He's always like, no, like let's come on, babe, like let's go. Like obviously we've had our moments too where he's had his downtime too, right? So I had to like pick him back up. But like for the most part, like I think between both of us, I feel like we'll always be there because one of us is going to be filling and one of them's, you know, if one of us need us to bring him back in, we're going to bring him back in. And like, you know, I mean, I feel like for partners, like he had his time where for people who are doing this, like, well, my partner's not doing it. It's like, you know, like he would like, all right, babe, like I would pick and choose, like, you know, like when to go, if I could go when he wasn't going to be around so we can spend that time together. Or like just, you know, like still trying, like I still made my food and like, you know, whatever with him. But my support system with him has like been great because he's there to push me.
Yeah.
My kids all like, if I was to say like today, like I'm not going to compete anymore, my kids would be like, what, why? But mom, hold on, like you're good at it, you know, like keep at it. And then, I mean, another thing, like my support system, like for my family, like luckily I was blessed to have like parents who love it, like love that I did that. Like both my parents have passed now. But like when I did my first show, like my dad went out and was like, what can I do to help you? Like he went out and bought my first set of jewelry. And back then again, like there was no like, I don't even know the names of the brand, like the glitter, whatever, all the different places on Instagram, right? They didn't have that then. So like my dad went to like Claire's and got me like some bling and like got me, I'm like, Dad, you can't wear necklaces.
And
like,
Amazon wasn't that big.
Yeah, like it was just such a different time. And so like, you know, my dad went out and did that. Like my mom, when I was working the 3 jobs, like obviously sometimes like my house wasn't like spotless. And so I'm like, just on the weekends, she's like, I'm coming down. Like, I'm going to come clean the house. Just go to the gym. I'll take care of the kids. Like, just go. And I come back home. My whole house was like clean, rearranged. Like my family support system as far as my parents have been, was amazing.
I love
and like,
that.
I'm definitely like, and that's my other thing. Like my parents loved it so much. Like I know they would hate to see me stop.
Mm-hmm.
Like even like my dad, like we come from, you know, our family, you know, has alcoholism and stuff like that. And we also have some family that's very religious. And one of my aunts had said, how are you okay with just Sheree posting yourself on social media like that? Like being out like half naked on the stage and this and that. And like my dad was like, I would much rather have my daughter standing there half naked than being fully clothed with just alcohol in her hands.
Yep.
And so like for that, like I know like my parents would hate if I quit.
Yeah.
Like my mom was like showing me off all the time. Like, oh my God, this is my daughter, you know, and they were at my shows. They were there to support me. And like, if you can get your family to like be on board, it's such a blessing. Because some people say like, oh, my parents don't get it. They're upset that I'm doing this. Or some parents are like, oh, why are you, you know, why are you always at the gym? Why can't you come and eat my food? Why can't you do this? And it's like, if you could have your family on board, that's like a blessing in itself.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a little bit of a deeper questions, right? So you you mentioned the fact that your parents passed, and recently was your dad.
Yeah.
How many months ago was that?
A month and a half. Oh,
That
2
was
months.
back
Yeah,
in
2 months.
August, July,
September 8th.
Wow.
So yeah, I guess about 2 months today.
I get to meet him. I get to meet him before he passed, and that was so funny. I came out. Remember, I told
I was
you.
like, I was warning you. I'm like, my dad's crazy.
No. I was like, oh, this is great. No, literally, like this is so great. So I came out and I said something. I can't remember what I said. It was something funny, and then he joked back, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I love it. I love the guy. He definitely looked like a cholo. It was
Yeah.
a definitely
He's a
cholo.
little OG.
Is OG. So the emotional aspects of that, and I know you always suppress your emotions. What is the top 1 or 2 things that you, off the top of your head, that makes you be emotional? Like what is that something because of your dad, or is it because of all the past that you've done?
Do you mean like me? What makes me actually cry?
Because you suppress it a lot.
I do.
Yeah.
I probably
Right.
cry more watching other people cry. Like when my clients talk to me about their whys or they start crying, I start crying. So
Sometimes-
it's
I mean,
more
hard
of like,
not to.
but it's just because like I know I can handle my own stuff. So, but watching somebody else be in so much pain and hurt,
Yeah.
I think it's also me looking back at the person I used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because I used to look in the mirror and cry. I used to wish I was somebody else. I used to look at all the other girls and wish I was prettier, had a body like them, and like,
But it also sounds like you didn't have anyone that you could go and cry to
yeah,
with
no.
that support.
Or
you know?
with.
And now you're
Yeah.
giving that to your clients.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I mean, I just didn't know it was, like, okay to go. I mean, sometimes I would cry, like, to my mom. Like, obviously, that was, like, the one person. But now that she's gone, you know.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, I think I would just not cry. I think I would just always, like, try. I've always tried to act like a tough girl. I was always, like, when I was younger, I was, like, a tomboy. I wouldn't hang out with my older brother. I was always with all the boys. So I have a very, like, masculine energy towards me, which it's a really bad thing at times because I don't know how to, like, have that feminine energy.
Yep.
But I just have always had to feel like I had to be strong. I would start crying when I was a kid, and I was like, "Oh, stop crying!" You know, like my parents have always like didn't want me to cry, didn't want me to be weak, didn't want me to be like.
Yeah.
And my
Are you the only girl?
Yeah, I'm between 2 boys.
Oh.
So like,
okay.
but my older brother and I were like this when we were little, and I just always like I literally was a tomboy. I was like climbing trees, out running the streets with them, like playing. I used to play tackle football, like having boys like hanging on my waist as I'm like trying to like walk, you know, to go to the freaking end zone, whatever. And like, I just have always been like a tomboy.
Yeah.
And so like for me, I think into that, like, but I've also been like, oh, I can wear a dress and I can cook and like bake cookies and do the girl stuff like that I had with my mom. But like I have a very strong upbringing because my dad also raised me because my mom used to work nights.
Did you cry when your dad passed? Did you have that space for yourself?
I didn't.
You did
So I actually started crying. Like I was almost like, I cried. I started crying at the casket. Like even when we were there at like when they told us that he had passed because they were trying to revive him, we were at the hospital and everybody was crying and I was just stared and just was like, I couldn't cry. And I almost felt guilty. I'm like, why can't I cry? Like watching a freaking movie or watching my clients cry and I can't cry right now. Like I was like, what's wrong with me? And so like, and then I started crying. Like I couldn't really cry when I was by myself. And G was like, come on, babe. Like I was just like, I can't. Like I have just too much going on. I can't. Like I felt like, because I have clients I have to be strong for. I have to be strong for my kids. I have these jobs I have to continue doing. And as a coach, you don't get paid to take time off. So like I got to still go to train my clients, even though my clients were like, don't take your time, take your time off. It's okay. And I'm like, no, like, let's go. I'm going to keep going. I need to stay busy. And so at the casket, I started crying. And as soon as somebody touched me, I like just froze and like stopped crying. And like, I was like, in my head, I was like, why am I not crying? So I actually just did like, but then I did an emotional release thing with somebody that I knew, like the whole breath work stuff.
Yeah.
And she knew that I was like struggling because of that. And she, in the emotional thing she was doing, she was like, now reach out, like act like like you're somebody you love and like that you lost is there and hug them. And like I put my hands up and just and just release it all. So I hate that I don't cry. It's really bad. Sometimes I want to cry. I mean, I do cry, but I cry more watching other people cry. It's like I'm going to be more open to crying because I see somebody else hurt versus myself. But it's just because I've taught to be so strong.
Did you had an opportunity to have maybe a conversation with your dad before he passed, or was that?
Yeah. So like, well, no, he was. They had found him. He had a heart attack, and so they said that they got him revived. And so when they were bringing him down, like I got to his place and they were bringing him down on the gurney.
Yeah.
And I asked if I could go to the ambulance with him. They said no, and so I just met him there. But then when I get there, they were.
Wow. You're very, very strong. I mean, we always talk about the emotional things with our clients. The number one thing that we always talk about, it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to have that space. Feel what you feel, and then let's move on the next day or whatever, how many hours that you want to cope with that.
Because we know if we don't release those emotions, it's going to cause more harm.
So on that subject, actually, so I went to go get a massage because I'd been so sore. After my dad's passing, I was sore everywhere. And I couldn't figure out why. And I was like,
Tension,
man, I'm
stress.
sore. Yeah. So I went to go get a massage, and she was like, girl, you are holding so much emotion. You are holding so much emotion in your hip. Like, my hips were sore. Everything was hurting. And so it was crazy because the day that I went to go do the whole release of my emotions, I started crying. I felt so much better. But I still don't know how to cry. So it's still, but I mean, in that moment, it's like I literally am going to find ways to make me cry. But then when I also have my clients, I feel weird that I'm crying because they're crying. So I shut it down also. But like that's like starts like working it. But like I need to get to the point where it's like they cry. I'm like, I'm just gonna cry here with you. Yeah. Like, can we sit down and have a conversation? Because if you're gonna start crying, I'm gonna start crying, and I need it. So I need it more than you right now.
Yeah,
How about you give me all the feels?
Both of you just start crying.
So like that's like when your client, when we were talking about how she sat, in the room and like. I told her, like, I sat in the bathroom and cried, and she started crying. I'm like, I started crying because I'm like, man, like, I remember those feelings. But like, I think I just need to get myself to get to those moments of feeling like you can cry, but I don't know how. Every once in a while, G tries to get me too, and he's like, babe, just cry.
Well, I think, it's because you've been practiced that for most of your life.
So
since you were 17 years old, bro.
Yeah,
I mean,
because I've had other people to worry about.
Yeah.
I don't.
Since 17 years old, you've always had someone to worry about. You've always had to be the tough one, and your past relationship didn't really go the way you wanted to.
And both of them. I mean, even my daughter's dad, like, it was like, he was abusive. I left. And, like, for that, like, moments, like, I was like, I have to suck this up and deal with it because, like, I have a kid that I have to be better for. Yeah. Like, and I mean, you shouldn't go through your emotions, but also use it for fuel.
100%.
Use it for fuel. Use it to make yourself better, but also feel it because it will. Like, emotional stuff is like so toxic in our bodies. I don't think most people realize it.
Mm-hmm. So. Well, especially within our health journey. Yeah. Like, we ask the right question. We always talk about this. Asking the right question when you're a coach is very, very important. It's not just about, hey, how was your week? Did you go to the gym? Did you do your cardio? Well, that's the easy stuff. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the easy stuff. But I think if we ask the right questions and dig deep, that's when the coaching really begins. Yeah. I love your story. I love the fact that you had 3 jobs, prepping, 3 kids, single mom. You did it. You're doing it. A lot of my clients are like jaw drops right now because it's like they don't believe that you did the things that you did. Yeah. What is your advice for all the women or even men that went through similar things that you went through in the past decade?
I would say just really use that for your fuel. Find your why. That's a huge thing. I mean, you got to first realize why you want to do this. Like, whether it's to be better, whether it's to become a better person, look better. But just the whole like feeling of emotions with like food and things like that, like take your food with you. Your kids aren't going to hate you for it. They're going to see a better person for it. Your spouse is going to see a more happier person, a more confident person. Things like that are just, I think people are so afraid of, but like you become better through the journey. The woman I was 14 years ago when I started my journey is somebody I was insecure. I didn't want to, like, I'm such a happier person. I still have my insecure moments. Don't get me wrong. Like, I have days where I love myself and I'm like, I look amazing. And then I have other moments like, God, I look horrible. But at the end of the day, like, I am not comparing myself to other people. I'm not wishing I was somebody else. I'm happy within myself, which reflects on being a better parent. I'm more positive around my kids and the people that I love. People come to you because it seems like once you're in fitness, you almost get like a positive light. And so like that just starts creating positive energy, positive thoughts, positive thinking. And so if you want to be better, if you're tired of the old habits, if you're tired of feeling crappy, like you're going to feel more energetic, you're going to feel more positive, just know it's worth it. Yeah. It's worth it. Like even the time away from the kids, like you're going to have that time, but make it, if you have to do it at 9:00 at night, when you put the kids to bed, then do it at 9:00 at night.
Yeah. What would you say to the version of you who was working 3 jobs, getting 3 hours of sleep, going into the bathroom, locking the door and crying? Like if you could go back in time, what advice would you give her? What would you say to her right now?
I would tell her just to keep being strong and to be nice to yourself. Because I was so miserable to myself and I talked down. Yeah. The more you speak positive to yourself and into your world, it'll come. Yep. But be kind to yourself. Like, don't beat yourself up. It's not going to bring anything positive out of it. It's just going to make you more down. And we have enough people that are probably putting us down.
Yeah.
Whether it's family, social media making us feel down,
Yeah.
partners, whatever, kids making us feel like maybe we need to do more, or maybe we're just exhausted. Like, be kind and speak good words to yourself.
Yep.
And I think as a parent too, like, we constantly think about how can we do better? You know, how can we make more money? How can we do this? How can we do that? We forget the little things. You know, we just cruise, just like coaching sometimes. Like we so focused on the measurements and the data and the meal plans, and we're not. Sometimes I have to take a step back and I'll talk to Nick about it all the time. I'm like, dude, you know how many lives we changed this year? Yeah. Think about how many years we've been doing this. Is how many lives have we changed? Yeah. Right. And it's such a beautiful thing. Yeah. Going back to speaking to your younger self. Dude, it always gets me emotional every time because we know how broken we were. Yeah. We know those dark moments. We've been through the dark moments. We've been through the moments where no one's there to save you. He's been in the lowest part of his life. What I had no idea. No one knew he was contemplating suicide. He was sitting in his closet in his dad's house. That no one knew what was going on.
I mean, I tried, and I'm open about it now, but up until this year, no one knew. Like I tried to end my life in my closet. Wow. This was 2019, not that long ago. Not that long ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a dark space.
Yeah. So thankfully it didn't work.
You know, we all have our trauma. I think that's one of the reasons why we always tell my kids all the time. I was like, always be nice, because you don't know what they're going through.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Always be nice.
Yeah.
You know.
And if you can, like, you just have to be good to people. People are so mean to people. And that's the thing. Like, I feel like at FTC, like I said, my clients, like, I told you recently, my clients, like, they're like, they're actually really nice. Like, they're just like, they talk to me, they recognize me, they see me, even though they're not.
Remind me her name, the client that came in our office saying she lost the inches on her waist.
Oh my gosh, officer. Michelle.
Michelle. She is the sweetest lady. So sweet. She's so sweet. And I see her there all the time. Yeah. And I could tell that she's a little.
Oh, the short hair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, she'll go get on the bike and she kind of tucks herself away in the corner.
She's very insecure,
I just wanted to say hi the one day, and she's super sweet.
Yeah. The one thing that I love about our company in the gym community is that we get to know your clients, you get to know our clients, and we're all such a family oriented, because we know we're there for one thing. Oh yeah, it's our goal. Yeah, you know, it's not like competition.
Yeah, and I told him, I said, you don't know where they started. I said, nobody knows that you used to be a little chunkier. You know,
a little.
Yeah. It was a little fluffy.
Yeah. Fat.
But like, you know, I mean, it's like, that's what I told that same client. I said, you don't know. I said, a lot of these people might look a certain way, but you don't know what they were at before.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. People make fun of me people make fun of my fat pictures or the skinny pictures, the nerd looking one. That's a funny one. Yeah, we're gonna move on to this next topic that we want to review, is how to stay on track during the holiday.
Yes. So for that, I feel like, for me, when I first got into it, you're gonna get a lot of slack. People are like, "Oh my gosh, you have your shelters up," but like, I would do, like, obviously, like, people are like sweet potato pie, right? For like, say, Thanksgiving or whatever. Like, I would just make me a sweet potato.
Yeah.
Just, you don't have to have all the extra stuff.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? I would find little things, or like, if there's one thing, like, I would like have like I make like a sugar-free pie that I make. Like, right? Like, I have like my own like little dessert, like, that was like, I make my family's pie, same thing, just do mine sugar-free. Yeah. Like, there's still ways to still enjoy food, just have a little bit of alternatives, or like, there's something that you really, find that one thing that you really want and do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's certain things you probably really don't care for. You're just doing it because it's there, but don't eat that. Yep. Or make a healthier version of it. Like, you don't like sweet potato pie? Take a sweet potato.
Exactly. Well, when we tell our clients, it's a holiday, not the holiday season or the months, right? Yeah. So if it's Thanksgiving or if it's Christmas, you know, there's ways that we can work around it like that and make sure you can still enjoy. But the other thing I tell them is, when you're going to, like, you know, dinner, let's think Thanksgiving's coming in a couple weeks, are you going strictly for the food or for the time with your family? Yeah. Like, well, with my family, because I get to see them, like, okay, so then why the hell does it matter what you're eating? Yeah. Whether you're eating the mashed potatoes and the stuffing and the rolls and the pie and all that, or you're bringing your meal if you have to, what's the difference?
Yeah. Or take cauliflower mash.
Yeah. Well, just something, but you're still getting that time with your family. You're still getting quality time with them. You're building those memories. The food is just the extra piece. Yeah. Yep. But it's an emotional attachment to the food, and it's the holiday, and so I have to eat it. It's like, no, you don't. Yeah. You can go still spend time with your family, but if you have a goal in mind and you want to stick to it, that's more important.
Yeah, and how many years did you have that?
Yeah.
Did that, like, You've had that your whole life. If you're 20, you've had it 20 years. If you're 50, you've had it 50 years of your life. Like what's one or a couple years, and then you need it in moderation. And then like when the holidays, like you said, it's not a holiday; it's a holiday, not a season.
Yeah.
Like if there's something you like during that season, have a small amount of it.
Yep.
Have 1 or 2 bites.
Yeah.
Get it over with.
Yep.
Get that.
Or
taste
just have a plate.
Yeah, have the plate,
You know,
call
'cause
it good.
we-
But then so many people, they do that.
back-
But
don't beat yourself up.
Well, they
Yeah.
it gets to the point where they beat themselves up over they just had a plate of food that they're like, fuck it, I ruined the whole thing. Like, I'm done. I can't do this. Like,
It's a Monday.
it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're
It's like, okay.
fuck up the whole week.
Yeah. So you ate
Like just-
you ate Thursday. So the next day when you go Black Friday shopping, just bring your snacks with you and get your steps in, and there you go. You're back on track. And then just eat clean till Christmas. Do the same thing on Christmas because they're like, oh, you know, I fucked it up. I'm, you know, New Year's Day, New Year's resolution. I'm gonna do it. It's like, no, you're not.
It's one day.
No,
one
you're
meal.
not. If you want to go into the next year a better version of you or implement the New Year's resolution, you need to start that shit like July.
Yeah,
You need to start that way ahead of time so you can go into the new year with the
Being
resolution, not start it on New Year's Day because
then you're part of that New Year's resolution gives up after a month.
well, yeah, because you're going to go way too extreme with it. You're going to just like, okay, you know, tomorrow I'm cutting out all soda, all alcohol, no more cookies, going to the gym. I'm going to eat clean, this and that, and you get so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Like a week later, you give up and you're right back to the
So
same shit.
obviously there's a lot of different journey, right? I'm talking if someone's cutting through the holiday, if someone's doing maintenance calories through the holiday, or someone's bulking through the holiday. So let's go deeper into that really quick. So I'm going to start off with the cutting. A lot of my clients are actually cutting through.
I think most of our clients are cutting.
Yeah, which is funny. Most of our clients cutting through Novembers and Decembers, and what we tell them, hey, we do not take away the experience of Thanksgiving and Christmas, which means you will get a cheat meal during those 2 days.
Yeah.
Now, but what you do with before and after, you got to get back right on track. So you have to be on track before you get to Thanksgiving. You have to be on track before you get to Christmas. And the most important part is when you have a meal, don't be this person where you beat yourself up and tell negative things to yourself. You up your cardio. You take out carbs completely. I actually had a client that did that the other day, and she was off for 2 weeks. I'm like, oh, I'm doing this. I'm like, oh, so you're coaching yourself now? Yeah, that's
so why
great.
did you pay me? Like,
Then
what am I here for?
Right. So the only thing that I said to her, I'm like, just don't change anything. Just get back to your routine. That's you're creating this bad relationship with food where you consume something and then you feel like shit the next day, and then you up your cardio, you go running, you do all the HIIT cardio, and you suffer for like 2 weeks to get to where you know, to kind of get back to where you were. So when you're cutting, keep in mind, you can have Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Just stay compliant before.
You'll be fine. I think the biggest thing too is because there's a lot of family gatherings, right? Especially people that are cutting. So eat before you leave. Always eat before you leave.
Do like a protein shake or something like that.
Yes.
Even. Because at least you got your protein, and then you won't be as full or as hungry, and at least you have a protein. So if you eat a little bit of extra carbs or something, then it's fine.
So eat before you leave the house. And then, depending on what time of day, you may have one or maybe have 2 meals left or more. Bring minimum 2 meals with you. I don't care if you out going shopping for 10 minutes, you stop by someone's house for whatever time, bring about 2 meals with you. And it's cold outside, so you can leave your meals in the car. It's going to stay cool. Like, it's fine, right? So bring your meals. Let's move on to the maintenance people that are on maintenance calories or following macros like Colton right now, even for us, because we're not competing. 1 cheat meal a week will not kill your results. Will not kill your results. So you can have a cheat meal a week, and that's fine. If you want to have Thanksgiving, save your cheat meal for that day. Don't have a cheat meal the day before, and then all of a sudden you have Thanksgiving again. Yeah. Don't do that, because you're overloading your carbs and fats at that point. It's gonna take you weeks to get back to normal. With inflammation. Now with bulking, sure. I mean, same thing with once a week cutting. I mean, if you're once a week cheat meal, or some people have 2, like yourself, you have 2 cheat meals a week. We had we went to In-N-Out.
Great.
We went to In-N-Out on we went to In-N-Out on Wednesday. Oh, dude, we had 2 double doubles, 2 fries, and then we wait about an hour up to 2 hours, and then we train. We use that energy and train.
Such a good leg.
Oh,
workout.
dude, it was great.
It was so nice.
I did
all the sodium from the fries.
I did chest, so I did other kinds of leg day because I can't do legs right now.
Yeah, you're a little
so just to give you guys a pointers, just because you have 1 cheat meal, it's not going to kill your progress. No. I promise you don't. Make sure you bring your meals. You can eat with your significant others or families. You, if it's not Thanksgiving yet, you can just bring your meals. You're fine. Like same thing what Sheree says. If everyone else is having sweet potato pies, whatever,
just make a sweet potato.
Just make sweet potatoes. It's
well,
fine,
Thanksgiving's turkey, so okay, make some turkey.
Make some turkey.
Make some turkey and come because you're still eating turkey.
Yeah,
it's just
like,
not the deep fried turkey.
If you're gonna have a cheat meal, like dude, cheat
Have a cheat
on
meal.
Thanksgiving. Like,
Yeah.
So
You
Well,
know?
or even for like me, I don't even like Thanksgiving food really. So for me,
I
I'm like,
love it.
I can be
love
without
it.
it.
I love
Me neither.
Thanksgiving so much. I don't even use utensils. That's not a joke.
Yeah.
I get a million rolls,
And
and,
then
I
you
make
just
all
dip.
these turkey sandwiches with mashed potatoes in them.
Makes sense.
It's disgusting.
Oh yeah.
It's disgusting.
But
Yeah,
it's one day.
It's one
And the other
day,
thing we tell
one
people
meal.
is if you are cutting through the holidays, learning the discipline of how to stay on track leading up to the holiday and then getting back on track until the next one.
Yeah.
We see more success in those clients than we do the clients who do their cut prior to the holiday and then they end up doing their next one. Because if throughout the entire calendar year, there's a good chance you're going to be cutting twice depending on where you're at. So if they start their first one and they experience it for the first time during the holidays, they're going to be more successful than people who don't do that because they've learned how to control themselves during the one time of the year where it's all about the pumpkin spice lattes. Now the peppermint mochas are out. Now all the candy's out. Now we have dinner 5 days a week at someone's house because it's the holiday season.
Yeah.
So if you can control yourself and learn these habits now, you'll be
And
totally
consistency is better than perfection too. I think a lot of
100%.
people think they need to be perfect. Like let's say you overindulge on Thanksgiving. All that matters is that you get back on track.
Yeah, heck, well, I maybe had a little bit too much. Just be honest with us in your check-in. I'm like, yeah, I fucked it up, dude.
Yeah,
I had
having
too much. But
turkey and potatoes is
Yeah.
it like you're not going to put on 80 pounds overnight?
no,
like,
if you tell them you're going to wake up bloated, that's
Yeah.
fine. But again, if you go Black Friday shopping, just bring your shit with you. Go to the mall. Give it a couple of days. Drink your water, and all of that inflammation's gone.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is like it's not gonna be like that forever either because like as you start getting to the point of getting those, like for me, I mean, I could be a little bit more lenient because my body is so used. So it's like,
Correct.
yeah, I had to really struggle hard and make sure I was super strict. You know, in the beginning, didn't have cheat meals, didn't have this and that, and stayed away from things. But like now, I mean,
Now we can enjoy
I
it
can
and we're
know like
fine.
I can have a couple bites of like my kids' food where it's like, okay, hey, like I made them lasagna the other night. I had a couple bites. Did I go like eat a whole freaking big old piece and a ton of it? Like no, but like you eat small portions of something just to try it, or like you get to that point where your body, once you've been at it for a while, you can, you know, it's not forever. It's not like you're gonna have to eat like this forever now because you're like, oh, I'm trying to be healthy. Once you get to that point and you get to that goal, you're gonna continue like, but you're still gonna eat consciously, and then you're like, you know, I can have a couple bites here, or like, now I don't feel guilty if I have a piece of chocolate
Yeah.
in the middle of like
Just
a
have
Tuesday.
it and you're fine.
Like, you know, I'm feeling sad right now. I want
Let's
a piece of
go.
chocolate.
Let's go a little bit deeper in that. I'm talking about body composition, right? So everyone has different phases in their body. With some people, most people have more body fat than muscle ratio, unfortunately. And for example, people like us, we have more muscle to fat ratio. So what that means, ladies and gentlemen, is when you have more muscle to fat ratio, you can actually get away with eating more outside of your plan because your muscle will burn the calories for you without even doing anything, no exercise, which is why I always say muscle is king. The cure to longevity is have muscle. Now, if you have more fat than muscle ratio, if you decided to eat what we eat, the cheat meals that we have, you will not burn the same amount of calories. You will hold on to those calories. Your weight's going to go up to 5 to 10 pounds within a week or so. And when we lose weight the next day after cheat meal, because we have a lot of muscle to burn the calories. Okay. So body composition is king. Don't go off of BMI. That BMI is one of the most inaccurate shit ever. The doctors still use it. It drives me nuts. It drives all of us nuts because I'm overweight for my height.
Yeah.
And you're probably
Way overweight.
way overweight for yours. So we're all pre-obese, right? It just drives me nuts. So I think hire a true professional that not only knows what they're doing and have the experience and the knowledge and do this full time like we do.
Well, the track record of helping people, but then you can see, because when people go to your page and they can see what you've been through, they can see the journey, so they know, okay, Sheree's been through it, great. We've been through, like we ran into coaches who put their clients on a cut, and it's way too extreme, and then we find out, well, that coach has never been through a cut, so it's like, so then how the hell can you take someone through that? If we haven't been through, if we haven't lived it, you cannot coach someone through this. Just because you did one bodybuilding show and you're like, oh yeah, I know how to coach someone. No.
Anything else you want to share with, especially your clients that are listening to this right now, about your journey or anything like that?
No, just like I said, just keep at it. It's not easy in the beginning, but I mean, it makes sense slowly. Each week gets easier.
Yep.
At first it's kind of hard just to get those meals, and then you're just like, okay, now I'm eating healthier meals. Now I'm making healthier choices. Now I'm able to tell my family I can't eat this, and it becomes just so easy to eventually do it. It just becomes regular.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, honestly, I'm probably afraid to like not eat my meals. I don't know what I would do without it.
Yeah.
So like it just becomes easier. It seems like really hard in the beginning, but I will let you know, like, we've all struggled in the beginning trying to figure it out. But if you really have that drive to do it, you're gonna do it, and just keep at it.
The last tip, though, actually, I forgot to mention on how to stay on track during the holiday. Bring your water with you.
Yeah,
Literally,
keep your
like
water.
you have a gallon. Can you show the camera real quick, both of you? We all have our waters. Okay, we
Got our
bring
gallons.
it anywhere and everywhere we go. And the reason why is because, especially when you're on a cut, it keeps you in check. You're not feeling as hungry. So water is your friend.
Yep.
Okay. So bring your water. I always bring my water with me everywhere I go. People get so weird about that too.
Yeah.
Like, I feel kind of weird bringing my water.
Or
to
people
a
look
meeting.
at us weird. Like,
Yeah.
do you know how big that is? I'm like, oh, no, I had no
literally carry
idea.
this like my
Thanks
purse.
for pointing it
Yeah.
out.
I put this on my shoulder and just carry like a purse.
Yeah.
I don't care.
We don't have purses. We have gallons. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't
How
care.
can you
like,
drink that much water? Water's so gross. How do you drink it?
It's so
Oh
attached
my
to me
God,
that
dude.
sometimes I go into restaurants and I realize I have it in my hand at the
Yeah,
Yeah.
restaurant.
Same.
And I have to like go back out the I'm like, oh my God, I'm putting my
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
I'll bring it to a place. I'm like, I don't know if I can bring it in, so I leave it in the car. And I think it's just a subconscious thing, but that's when I'm the most thirsty. Is
Yeah.
when I don't have it with me, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. I bring
Who
it everywhere.
has the best water? I'm Team Arrowhead.
Oh God.
What? Are you crazy? Dasani makes me like
No.
I can't eat
acid
Dasani.
reflex.
I don't
Makes
like
me wanna
Dasani.
People give
throw
me
up,
shit.
yeah.
Dasani's my favorite.
Get the fuck out
I
of here,
love
dude.
Dasani, dude.
It's weird. Yeah, I like Smart Water.
Oh no, I do. Smart
like
water.
Arrowhead.
Smart water or Voss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
just realized
Dasani.
who
I
I
don't
was
Yeah,
know.
I'm a
I
little-
mean,
It's
if I want
water
to
to
be bougie,
me.
I'm like, I'll give me a Voss or a Fiji.
Fiji. Oh, God. You're one of those people, huh? He's a Fiji person.
No, I mean, honestly, I'm probably more Kirkland. I just grab Kirkland.
There's
Oh, yeah,
It's just,
true.
to me, it's just water. Like,
what's the water out there now? And I don't know what it's called, but it's in a bottle, obviously clearly, but the logo on it is red and it's something H2O and it's got something in it.
Oh, the electrolyte.
Oh,
Something
I know.
like that,
It,
yeah.
it almost looks like the
And the
Switzerland
the
flag.
logo is a plus.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the electrolytes water. I don't know
Yeah,
what
or
it
it's
is,
got
but
something
yeah.
else in it too.
I know what you're talking about.
Alkaline
the alkaline water.
Something that was like, did you know when I was out with doing this photography for this band, the guitar player's drinking. He's like, do you drink this? I was like, no. He's like, did you know that if it doesn't have this much alkaline in it, your body doesn't so if you drink like other water, you don't even absorb. You're still dehydrated. And I was like
that's not.
I don't think that's a thing, but
My favorite thing is the lady going around who is selling this bottle that adds hydrogen to your water because there's no hydrogen in it. I'm like, what the fuck do you
Oh,
think
yeah.
the H stands for in H2O?
hydrogen to
Yeah,
oxygen.
she's like, this puts the hydrogen in your water and it'll hydrate it for you, and it's it does this crazy thing because if you don't have it, you don't have the hydrogen in the water, your body can't really do much with it. Kind of the same thing. Like the fuck's the H then? Hot dog?
Yeah, hot dog water.
Hot dog water.
Honestly, sometimes when we post our post on our social media, we have to make it simple stupid for a lot of people because they don't understand a lot of lingo that we have, which is okay, but when other doctors or something or dietitian or someone post something on social media and they make it so complex, and I'm like, dude, just say it, just simple.
No one's
Simple.
impressed that you know a fancy word.
It's just simplify because
just
no
talk.
one understands,
Yeah.
right? And that's why we have our clients in our podcast, because we want you to tell a story about how your journey looks like, because everyone has a different story.
Oh yeah.
I also learned that your brain is the last part of your body to get hydrated when you do drink water, which is why it's important that you drink a lot of water because it'll hydrate everything else first and then your brain. So if you're feeling brain fog, memory problems, headaches, that's why they're like, drink water, because it's the last thing that gets hydrated when you drink water.
Yeah, my clients hate it. And they're like, well, I have a headache, coach. I'm like,
Well, it's because you don't have enough hydrogen in your water.
Yeah,
your brain. Yeah.
You're drinking that hot dog water.
all right, guys. This has been an amazing podcast. It's always been chill, and I love having other coaches or other professionals coming on our podcast to share your journey, because when I had Brad in here a couple weeks ago, dude, the shit that we talked about was so funny in a lot of different areas. And to have you on here, and again, people don't know that you have 3 jobs. People just look at us and like, oh, you stumble upon.
Yeah, you're so lucky.
Yeah,
it's like, bitch, if you knew the shit we had to go through.
My biggest thing is, I love the guy, but his name is Josh. I don't think he listens to this anyway, but he reached out to me a while ago, like talking about, bro, like, you look great. And I'm like, oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm like, you could do it too. No, man, wait till you have kids, bro. Wait till you have kids.
I got that so much leading up to us having Mila. And I'm like, I'm still doing the same shit, and I have a kid.
Okay, so guess what? I had OE. I prepped the 4th month when he's turned 4 months. And we're still here.
Yeah,
we're all. I think the biggest thing that they don't understand is, if your dad and a mom listening to this, it's not about the physique. It's the continuation of living a healthy lifestyle. So not only you do it for you, you do it for your kids. You teach your kids to be better. We all had a shitty background on nutrition, bro. That's why we do this. That's why we teach parents. That's why we have a lot of parents, and they all have kids. And you lead by example. So thank you, Sheree, for being on. Episode number 28. And I also want to let you guys know, thank you for sharing our YouTube, our Spotify, through Instagram and Facebook and things like that. We really appreciate you for sharing that, and subscribe on YouTube. Okay. And Sheree, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.